Hi everyone, this is Marie with Joy for Balance Energy, and today is a rather interesting topic, and it is what you need to know about domestic violence. And it took me a little bit to get to this recording today. I generally get my recordings out earlier on the day that they go out because I do topics on Tuesdays and Thursdays the first 2 weeks of the month. And I do pick a card readings, and then I do tarot the last 2 weeks, which consists of the zodiacs. All the signs go out. But it was funny when I came across this topic, because I actually was checking to see what is a popular search term on Google. Well, it turned out to be domestic violence. It really was sad to see. So I figured I should probably do a topic on it. I have experience in that as well. So you're going to see me glancing down because I have my notes, and so bear with me. And I also have some statistics that I'll be reading off to you as well. But let me introduce me first. I've been a hypnotherapist for 16 plus years. And I actually am getting ready to graduate for a technique that actually runs hand in hand with hypnosis. And I'm really excited about that because that's going to really help. I'm going to be able to help people to move through traumas that they've had in their past, or phobias, or whatever the case may be. This really speeds the recovery of getting through some of these things. And so I'm really excited about it. And I'm also working on a workshop, and that's also for, emotional trauma as well. And so when that gets totally put together, I will be putting that out there. And then I have another one, which is, crushing your limiting beliefs, because we all have them. And especially in an abusive relationship, there's limiting beliefs that we take on due to what we experience. And so that's why I wanted to do that workshop, so that, it's another way to move through some of these experiences that you've had. But I thought it was very important to talk about this. And I'm sorry about the glare. I was trying to adjust the light, but it doesn't want to adjust properly, so bear with me on that. But I figured, it was important to share what you need to know, and I can talk about this because I have experience with domestic violence in my past, and so I wanted to share information on top of statistics that I had pulled. And hopefully this can help, whoever out there that's watching this to make a good decision if they are caught in this situation, because it could be very scary. I'm going to give some examples of what I've been through. I'm not going to go into major detail, but just so that you can maybe reflect. Maybe it's something you're experiencing that I'm talking about, because the whole goal here is to help each other, because domestic violence, it's not just physical, it's also mental, and it's very painful. It really takes the power away from the abused one, and you can take your power back, but you need to really be strong. And especially if you have children, you got to get out of the situation. But let me go ahead and get started with one of my first experiences, and it was when I was first married. I really cared for this individual very much, and he was a very independent person and wanted to remain independent, not really spending time with me or the family. And of course I was adding a little pressure because I was just wanting to have more family time. Well, this really upset him. because it was invading on what he wanted to do all the time. I mean, if I wouldn't have said anything, he would have never been basically home. And so it led to physical abuse. Also, mental things that, he had said. I mean, he literally had, physically abused me in the worst way, and it, was very scary. But I think the scariest part of it all was the fact that I would say to him the next day, "Why did you do this to me?" "Do what?" "I didn't do anything." And I said, "Well, how did I get the bruises?" He goes, "I never touched you." And, this is what happens with the abuser. They're trying to make you feel like you're going crazy and you're losing your mind. They want you to believe that they never touched you when you fully know they definitely did. And so you need to, stay conscious of that, because they, will say a lot of different things. The other situation that I was in, not with the same person, but somebody that I was dating, became very, very possessive over me. And also more mental, but there was physical, because this person tried to strangle me. And I was on my way out, but I had already talked to the neighbor, because I knew I was starting to see these signs from this individual. And so I had told them that if you ever hear me pounding or yelling or something, call the police. And thank God I did. And it turned out that he ended up strangling me where I could get to the wall, the neighboring wall, because I was in an apartment, and pound on the wall, and they called the police, and the police got there. Now, here's, the thing from that. Let me step back from that time, because I have more to say about that. But a previous time, he yelled and was saying a lot of very mean things to me, putting me down, calling me all sorts of names, saying, if I can't have you, nobody can. And it was very scary. But then, once he calmed down, he would end up coming home with a gift for me. He would get all mad, and then he'd come back and give me a gift. Very nice gifts. But that was his way of trying to keep me to stay with him. And I had broken up with him at that point. I can't remember if it was before or after. It's so long ago. But he broke into my apartment, and I had come home just on my lunch break from work. And when I walked into my apartment, it smelled different in there. I knew something wasn't right. My gut was screaming at me. And he broke into my apartment and was sitting on the couch waiting for me. These are very scary times, and you need to take things very seriously, because, it could mean your life. And I'll get back to that story I was telling you about, where I was physically being strangled, and I was able to reach and hit the wall, and the police came and took him off to jail. That's also scary, because they're not going to stay in jail that long. They never hold him that long. And so I was thinking, oh my gosh, what is he going to do? Because he's probably really, really mad. And I'm thinking, great. Now I have to, keep my eyes open and really be present to my surroundings, because it did turn out where he was stalking me. And I was so scared to go to sleep at night, because I thought he was going to break in like he did my other apartment. And so anyway, there was a situation where he was stalking me, and I'm thinking, I'm going to call the police, I'm going to get my car and get out of here, because he won't stop looking through my window and following me around. It was creepy. And so I called the police, and I said, I'm leaving right now. And before I could even leave, the police got there right away, just because we had the previous problem. And I was in my car, and he was coming towards my car. He wasn't going to let me drive off. And the police are coming up, and then I went around him. You know, I was so scared, so scared. So you really need to pay attention to those things. And, you know, with these situations I found myself in, I always thought I could fix them. You know, they had, you know, a bad childhood and this and that. And I've always been, you know, somebody who heals people. That's where the hypnotherapy came in. And so you really need to understand you're not going to change them. Only they can change them. And if you're in danger, you need to get out. So that's all I'm going to say there, because it's very scary. Let me see. Sorry, my computer is going out here. So, yeah, you can't change them. So let's go over some statistics. And these statistics, I'm going to actually read it because it came from the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. And in the United States, an estimated 10 million people experience domestic violence every year. And this is a current statistic. About 20 people per minute are physically abused by an intimate partner. About 1 in 4 women and 1 in 9 men experience severe intimate partner physical violence, sexual violence, and or partner stalking with injury, PTSD, and also contraction of, you know, the sexually transmitted diseases. And they listed 10 states that have the highest percentages, almost like half the population of those states. And I'll just name them off real quick. Oklahoma, 49%. Iowa, 45%. Kentucky, 45%. North Carolina, 43%. Nevada, 43%. Alaska, 43%. Arizona, 42%. Washington State, 42%. Idaho, 42%. And Missouri, 41%. So it gives you an idea. That's just 10 states of how much domestic violence is going on. And so you really need to take this seriously if you find yourself in a domestic violence situation. So now I'm going to go ahead and go over some, you know, signs and symptoms to look out for. Because, you know, you could be together, maybe you started dating somebody new and you don't really know them that well. One thing that I found with individuals that are violent, they will wear a mask. And they will stay like that. In fact, my first marriage, everything was great for the first 5 years. He wore that mask. And then the mask came off. So, anyway, the following information was provided by the Portland Women's Strength Program. And so they, you know, listed some things to look out for. And jealousy and possession is, you know, the first one. It's where they feel like they own you and you need to listen to them, and they're constantly checking up on you. And they call you all the time because they want to be in control of you. They also even put friends out there to keep an eye on you. Very, very, very possessive and jealous, and they accuse you of cheating. You know, it's really unfortunate, but it happens in these cases. Controlling behavior, constant questions of who you spend your time with when they're at work. What are you wearing? You can't wear that. It's too low. It's very controlling. And they want you to ask permission to do things. And you know, they make it sound like they're looking out for your safety. You know, very manipulative and very thought-provoking that they're going through in their head of how they can convince you that I'm only here protecting you, and if you wear that, that's going to put you at risk. Or if you don't, you know, stay in contact with me, you know, I don't want to worry about you being hurt. They come across very compassionate, but they're not. It's just their game that they're playing. And then the next one is quick involvement, which is 6 months or less, where you come together with somebody and, they just want to be together with you really quick. And you haven't even really gotten to know them yet. And so if they're really pushing for you to get together with them, there's something, that's a sign right there. Because they're pushing because you're the next victim. And they want to get into that relationship quickly. And then, unrealistic expectations. In a very they over compliment you. It's gonna go down. Over flattering, expects you to be perfect, and saying things like, I am all you need. And what else do they say? You are all I need. And it's kind of like that comment that I had mentioned that I went through. If I can't have you, nobody can. In fact, that's what he said as he was strangling me. So, they also put you in isolation. And I had that situation as well. I mean, I couldn't go out with any friends. I couldn't even really talk with my family. I also had, one of my daughters went through something like that as well. Couldn't really reach out to me, that was such a scary thing for me to see my daughter go through. The good news, she's out of that relationship, so. But yes, isolation, and they keep accusing you of, you just want to cheat on me, stuff like that. They're very controlling. And then, this one's interesting. Blames others for problems. It's like they point the finger at you like you're at fault when it's really them. They don't take responsibility. It's kind of like the situation where I said, why did you do this to me? And he said, I never touched you. Or, you deserved it. That's what some of them will say. You deserved it. The ones that do admit, you deserved it. That's pointing the finger at you, saying, you caused it. Oh, don't buy into that. None of this is worth your safety. And if you have children, that's even bigger. You need to just get out of there. Disrespectful or cruel to others, meaning they take out their rage with maybe an animal that you have, or kids. They go after the kids. They're really just disrespectful to anybody that gets in their way, and they'll make it known. And they're very cruel. It's terrible. The next one, playful, use of force during sexual activity. And, that's a situation where, example, you're going to sleep and they're, being very controlling over you, and you're saying no and they're saying yes. And so that's really rough for anybody that's going through that. And so that's another sign. I mean, if you see any signs of them forcing themselves upon you, no. Verbal abuse of any kind. And then there's the rigid sex roles, believes women are inferior to men. And so they, it's just unable to be a whole person without a relationship, believes women are inferior. Then there's the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. These mood swings that are just going up and down. It leaves you walking on eggshells. You don't know what to expect. I mean, it's very scary. And, that's another sign. Past battering. You may hear the person was abusive to someone else. And so I guess what I get from that is, do your research on these people that you date. Get to know everything about them. And when they do bring their friends around, ask their friends, you know, hey, what's he been like over the years and this and that, because if there has been problems, it will eventually come out. So you want to, you know, be the investigator in new relationships so that you don't run into somebody that could be a violent person. Breaking or striking objects. And this one is really upsetting because they'll generally go after something that you're totally attached to. Like, for instance, I'm really attached to my mother Mary here. Somebody would go ahead and grab that and smash it against the wall because they're mad at you and they don't care. And then you lose, you know, things that are very important to you. Any force during an argument, meaning pushing, shoving, physically restrains you from leaving the room. You know, they're not allowed to touch you. Nobody's allowed to refrain you from doing what it is that you want to do if you're trying to get away or go to the other room. They can't do that. And it doesn't respect your property or privacy. They're constantly barging in on you. They want to see if they could catch you up on the phone, and then they accuse you of an affair. I mean, it's unreal. So what you need to do when you're in danger, you know, you start seeing the signs. First thing I would tell you is, you know, if you have neighbors, I know that you don't want maybe your neighbors knowing your business, but this is for your safety. You know, if the police can't get there right away, at least your neighbors might be able to, you know, help you in this situation in some way, like my neighbors did. I mean, they called the police right away. And so, you know, put your neighbors on alert. And, you know, also, they have the National Domestic Violence Hotline, and I'm going to give that to you. In fact, I will list it in the description below the video. So if there's anybody that's watching this video that's currently going through this situation and you really don't know what to do, this is a great thing to check into, get some questions answered, maybe put together some kind of game plan so that you could get out safely, because this hotline, I mean, they hear it all, and you know, your life is important, and so are your children if you have children. And so you need to get out of that situation before something really bad happens, because it just, you know, when you have somebody that's abusive, it only will accelerate. They're not going to change. I haven't seen, you know, and I've been in several domestic violence relationships, and they don't change. That's been my experience. And you need to take care of you. And, you know, if you're a mother or father with those children, you need to do what you need to do to get you and those children out safely. Because, you know, that individual could take it out on the children. So I just wanted to, you know, bring that point home. So I know this was a rather brief video. I just wanted to, you know, put the signs out there. You know, the minute you see any of these signs popping up, I don't care how much you love that person or think you love that person, you need to get out. It's not worth it. It's not worth your life or your children's or your animals. I mean, I heard of a terrible story of, you know, a very big dog being stuck in a container, like a little tiny container, sealed up for several hours, from somebody that was abusive. And it was basically, I think, to get even with the other person, because it was their dog. So, you know, there's all sorts of horror stories out there, and I just don't want anybody that's going through this and watching this have, you know, bad things happen. It's important to really do self-care on yourself and, put together a plan to have a safe exit so nobody gets hurt. And so that was my topic, and it was really difficult for me to do this topic just because it brought up all these memories and things, although that I've dealt with them. You do get over the pain, and I've been able to forgive those individuals, and it's really helped me to heal. Forgiveness is a way to really heal yourself, because if you get out of this situation and you have hatred, that's just anger that's going in within you. Now, another thing that I will say is that all the stress that you're under in this terrible situation, that only lowers your immune system, and you need to be strong, especially in this situation. And so you don't want to be sticking around in that stress. You want to get out so that you can remain healthy. And like I said, if you have a family, be healthy for the family, because you have to look out for them. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I can think of before I close. It just, like I said, domestic violence is out there, and it's really sad that it is at those percentage rates. I mean, it just really blew my mind to find those stats, and that it's happening all the time. So I hope this video helped. And if you are going through a difficult situation, in fact, I'll say the number, but I will post it. You could go both online, and it's online chatting at www.thehotline.org. And then I'll say that again in case you're trying to scramble for a pen. But like I said, I'm going to put it in the description. www.thehotline.org. So that's a website that you could go to, and you could actually chat with them. There's also a phone number, and that is 1-800-799-SAFE. And so reach out to them, either by calling them or on their website. Now, if one of the things that just hit me as I said that, if you are dealing with somebody that's very controlling over you and looking at everything, be careful, because they could see, the hotline.org and click on it. So be very discreet. I personally would probably just call the 800 number, and that's my opinion. You can do what it is that you need to do, but I just wanted to point out, if they are the controlling type and they're looking at everything, they're going through your purse or wallet, just to find something to become violent, I would just call the number. So that's my advice. And so I send so much love and light to you, and if you are in danger, please reach out and get help. Come up with a plan so that you can be safe. So my name is Marie with Joy for Balance Energy, and you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and obviously YouTube. And I also have a website, which I will be posting those workshops here at some point for the workshops, and then you'll be able to get in there and sign up for those if you're interested in those. And so my website is joy4balance.com, and on there you'll find meditations, energy healing. If you like tarot, I have those up on there as well. I also have some blogs, and you could also schedule a private session with me on the hypnotherapy side of things if you feel that you need some support in getting through everything that you're going through. So that is all I have for you now, and please be safe and be smart and protect those children if you have children. So, much love. Take care.